Ruoli was unwilling to attack her biological father and her half-brother and sister. Not only was Charlie not unhappy, but he was relieved. In fact, if a person can really attack her brothers and sisters, or even her biological father, Charlie must have a strong guard against such people. Because in his opinion, no matter how bad a person is, he cannot be without humanity. If a person is true without humanity, even if he obeys his own words today, he will still be able to stab in the heart of anyone directly tomorrow. Therefore, in his opinion, although Ruoli has destroyed the Matsumoto family, she is still not inhuman. The reason for the act of exterminating that line was to execute the order. Just like a soldier, no matter what order his superior commander gives him, he, as a qualified soldier, must obey. Otherwise, he is not a qualified soldier. So Charlie didn't have any opinion on this, and he said, "We too have a deep hatred with the Su family. You hate Chungfang, and I hate Xin. You need Chungfang to give you an explanation, and I also need Xin to give me an explanation, so the two of us have to work together as hard as possible when facing the Su family." Ruoli hesitated for a moment, and asked, "Mr. Wade, do you hate my father because of the anti-Wade alliance back then?" Charlie nodded and said coldly, "Back then, Xin held high the banner of the anti-Wade alliance and organized a group of people to target my father with all their strength. Although I still don't know how strong he has a hand in my father's death, how big his role in the anti-Wade alliance. But for the association with the words anti-Wade alliance alone, he is my enemy." Ruoli asked again, "Mr. Wade, would you kill my father because of the anti-Wade alliance back then?" Charlie thought for a few seconds and said with a serious face, "If Xin's anti-Wade alliance was not the direct murderer of my parents, or did not directly participate in the murder of my parents, then I would not kill Xin. I will punish him reasonably based on his actual crimes." Speaking of this, Charlie's expression flashed coldly, and he sternly said, "However, if he has an unshrinkable responsibility for the death of my parents, then I must take his miserable life and use his head above the neck to pay homage to my parents." Ruoli nodded gently. Although she prayed 1,000 times to let Charlie and Xin not meet in the battlefield. But she also knew very well in her heart that she didn't have the ability to control this matter, let alone the qualifications to control it. Not only was Charlie much stronger than himself, but Charlie even saved her life, and she was not qualified to intervene in any decision to avenge his parents' murder. Therefore, she could only pray silently in her heart, praying for her father Xin, and never be the culprit who killed Charlie's parents. Otherwise, with Charlie's strength, it would be easy to kill him. Thinking of this, Ruoli looked at Charlie and thought over and over again, but still asked, "Mr. Wade, when can I contact my mother?" Charlie said, "It's not possible for the time being." "Wait a minute. The main reason is that your current identity is too sensitive. News about you is raging throughout Asia. The Japanese government is also eager to arrest you and convict you. If the news that you are still alive leaks out, I wouldn't be able to keep you." After that, Charlie said again, "I suggest you wait patiently. When the time is right, I will let you contact your mother." Ruoli nodded gently, and said respectfully, "Okay, Mr. Wade, Ruoli will do everything you ordered." Charlie gave a hum, and said, "These days, you will have a good rest here." Ruoli hurriedly said, "Okay, Mr. Wade." Charlie thought of something and asked curiously, "Oh, yes, when I just came in, I saw you as if you were training." Ruoli remembered how she was wearing only sports tube tops and sports shorts, and she nodded in embarrassment, and said, "Mr. Wade, I usually practice every day." Charlie asked curiously, "You martial arts masters, what do you usually practice when you practice?" Ruoli replied truthfully, "Every morning, I practice the special techniques that passed down my family." Charlie asked curiously, "Is it unique to the He family, because Wade has the inheritance of martial arts?" Charlie learned from his father when he was young. However, what she doing, called Wing Chun, is just a set of relatively ordinary boxing techniques and martial arts, not internal boxing. In comparison, the ranks of Charlie's technique are Nijachuin, which is generally higher end than ordinary boxing. Because ordinary boxing is actually a kind of fighting technique. Whether it is Chinese Wing Chun, Japanese karate, Korean taekwondo, they are all fighting skills, but those who created these skills have their own ways of looking at problems. Different, so the fighting skills created are also different. But Nijachuan is unique. The main practice of Nijachuan is not physical skills, but the cultivation of internal strength. Thus dominated by internal strength exercises. In contrast, Nijachuan is much more advanced than ordinary boxing, and its overall strength is also stronger. It is precisely because of practicing internal boxing all the year round that Ruoli can surpass most of her peers and become a leader. However, the whole set of Xingyiquan she practiced was 1,000 miles away from Charlie's 9 profound heaven classics. Charlie wanted to mention it to her a little bit, so he said, "Miss Ruoli, I want to give you a pulse." "I don't know if it is convenient," Ruoli said without hesitation. "Of course, Mr. Wade, please." After that, she handed her right hand to Charlie. Charlie's fingertips lightly placed on Ruoli's veins, a trace of spiritual energy passed through the veins and into Ruoli's body. The spiritual energy wandered through her body, and Charlie immediately discovered that Ruoli's 8 channels of the odd meridian in her body had only opened up 2 channels. The 2 channels of Ren and Du are actually the collective name of 2 channels. The Ren and Du channels are part of the 8 channels of the odd meridian. There are 8 odd meridians and 8 channels, namely Ren, Du, Chong, Band, Yin Chao, Yang Chao, Yin Wei, and Yang Wei. The reason they are said to be the 8 meridians of the odd meridian is mainly that, for most people, these 8 meridians are naturally unconnected. The traditional Chinese martial arts and Taoist training methods are all about practicing energy. This energy is stored in the body and sinks in the core. When it moves, it passes through the 8 meridians. Therefore, whether or not the 8 channels of the odd meridian are opened up and how much is connected directly relates to the person's strength. To put it bluntly, if a person is an internal combustion engine, then the gas in the core is the fuel when the internal combustion engine is running. The Kijing Bamai is the 8 pipelines that supply fuel to the internal combustion engine. If none of the 8 pipelines are opened, then this person is a completely ordinary person. If 1 or 2 of these 8 are connected, this person's strength can rise by a large margin. If you get through the 8 points, you will almost reach the pinnacle of internal cultivation. Ruoli has only opened up the 2 channels of Ren and Du, and there are still 6 channels left. If she can get another one, his strength can be doubled. It's a pity that it is impossible to get through the 8 meridians of the energy meridian in a traditional practice. Taking the Xingyiquan of the He family as an example, for hundreds of years, only one ancestor of the He family has opened up 4 of the 8 channels of the odd meridian. For the rest, the best will only get through 3. In the current He family, only Ruoli's grandfather Luther can open up the 3 meridians. In the 40 years after he opened up the 3 meridians, the He family has never made a second one. More, in fact, only one can get through in a lifetime.